This is the largest gathering of global leadership of the post-COVID period of time. For many people, this meeting feels out of step with the moment. We hear all about the elites. And how does that play out in an age of populism? How does an established institution make a difference in an era of deep institutional mistrust? And there's some truth to the critique. I believe in this forum for a long time. I certainly wouldn't be leading this if I didn't believe that we can change and make the world better. But it's also obvious that the world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. If the World Economic Forum is going to be useful going forward, it has to regain that trust.
The idea is to create a situation where the people are so frightened of the violence all around them that they will throw their hands up in the air and demand, federal government, do something. And the only choice open will be martial law. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our venerable apostles and others of great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. It's the brother Haran coming back at you with a quick lesson, low and to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. And I have an article here, and it's titled, let me get there real quick. It's titled, James Cameron Flees U.S., Claims America Will Spiral into Disarray When Next Demic Unleashed. Okay, and this is dated January 23rd, 2026. All right, so that's yesterday. And we're going to read through this real quick, but before we do so, I want to get a quick precept here because we are in those times, like we've always been saying. All right, look what's going on in Minneapolis. All right, there was some information that came out that apparently today, the so-called ICE agents shot up another nigga. All right, well, he wasn't a nigga, but he was a so-called white man, and it's caused an uproar. I mean, we're talking riots and so on and so forth, but it's all done by design. All right, this is what is known as the Hegelian dialectic, all right, otherwise known as the problem, reaction, solution. Okay, and we've been going over this for years now. All right, now you're starting to see, all right, the things that we talked about for years that was called a conspiracy theory. It's all coming to pass. All right, like I keep saying. Okay, let's read a little bit about the Hegelian dialectic and what it means. Right, it says here, Hegelian dialectic refers to the philosophical method developed by G.W.F. Hegel, describing how ideas, history, and reality evolve through a process of internal contradiction and resolution. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. Okay, these are all 3 steps that are designed internally. Okay, they create a problem, and based on the reaction of the people, they come up with a solution. So always remember, the true action is in the reaction. Okay, so what you see now with the whole ICE thing, how does problem, reaction, solution, come to play? Well, they create a problem. The problem is, in the previous administration, they open up the borders. All right, they say we're creating sanctuary cities, right? We have the borders open. We got a whole bunch of so-called undocumented illegal immigrants coming in. And I remember watching videos of these people coming in over the border, and they had them lined up. You had people from Iran, people from Iraq, people from Africa, all over the place. Okay, these are warlike, able men. All right, no limbs are blown off. They're not in some type of assistance or wheelchair. These are men, grown ass men coming in here. All right, to what? To respond to a calling. Okay, so they came in. They pushed the propaganda of the squatters' rights, and they're taking over Colorado, and eating people's cats in Cincinnati, and so on and so forth. Okay, so then people are outraged by this. Oh, the illegals are coming in here. They're taking our jobs, and they took our jobs. All that dumbass shit. Okay, it was all orchestrated from within. All right, you can go talk to your CIA agents. They come up with all these things. They orchestrate these shits. Okay, and then the next. They set it up for the next, administration to come in, which would be in this case from Democrats to Republicans. All right. So they come in with the whole mindset of, the previous administration is the reason why we're in this hell. We need to clean it up. We need to clean up our streets. We need to, send some type of troops in there to, make sure that we saving America again. Okay. All these illegal people, we got to get them up out of here. Okay. So that's the excuse. And then as they start the process of getting the so-called illegals, they start off with the so-called gang members. So a few months ago, when Trump was in power, well, he's still in power, but at the beginning stage of his second term, you start to see the push of them going after the so-called illegals. Oh, MS-13. Do you even hear about MS-13 nowadays? Is that who ICE is going after nowadays? I don't think so. Okay, and we told you this is all part of Rex 84, right? This is all part of it. It's all the unfolding of Rex 84. It's going to end with people getting carted up, grabbed up, thrown into trucks, buses, whatever, helicopters, trains, and you're going to be sent over to different parts of to different parts of America. And woe unto you if you end up in Fairbanks, Alaska. All right, that's the biggest concentration camp in America right now. I believe it could hold up to 2 million people, if not more. I think it'd be more than that, or 20 million or some shit. All right. But you saw the process gradually of them going after these so-called gang members. Now, nobody want no crazy gang members in the streets, right? Oh, they're going after MS-13 and blah, 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 Tren de la Agua, whatever, right? These are violent gangs and people bought it, okay? People are all for it because it's like, yo, yeah, that's right. Yeah, get these gang members up out of here, man. You see? And then it trickled down to, oh, we're now going after illegals. Why? Because they're coming in here, they're taking your jobs, they're making life hard, da-da-da. People bought it. That's another step. You see? So they created that problem. And then they take it a step further and they say, well, right now we're just going after anyone who's against their administration and so on and so forth because they are looked at as domestic teas now. You see? So they just have to kick the door down. And once their foot is in the house, they're coming in to change all the rules. Doesn't matter who you are or what you believe in, they're coming after everyone. Now remember, going all the way back to 1933, the American citizens are known as the enemies of the state. When your government, which is a corporation, decides that they want to wage war domestically, they're going after American citizens, point blank, period. Make no mistake about it. I don't care if you're a rich so-called white man with a white collar job making six figures, or you're just a nigga called Tyrone in the streets of the Bronx somewhere. They're coming after everyone. Okay, that's why the scripture says it's going to be like a time like never before. When you read 2nd Ezra, time and time again, we brought these precepts out. It says they shall be like madmen sparing none. What do you think that's talking about? And then on top of that, you have a president who comes in, okay, and he aligns himself or his whole cabinet. I remember when he first popped in, I said, yo, you do realize that he don't got no Jake on his cabinet at all? Most of them, if not all of them, are pledging to the Jays, but no Jakes. All right, no Jakes. So ain't no Jakes in there that's going to soften the blow, so to speak. Okay, during the Biden administration, you had the Secretary of was it the Secretary of State? No, Secretary of Defense. Let me just double check that. Okay, Lloyd Austin. Let me see if I could find his name. Lloyd Austin. Army General, some shit like, let me see. Lloyd Austin, United States Army General and former United States Secretary of Defense. There you go. So the Secretary of Defense was a Jake. All right. And now the Secretary of Defense now has become the Secretary of War is Pete Hegseth. Can you believe that? a nigga called Pete Hegseth. Okay. Just that name alone, it just sounds very funny. There's something about that nigga. It's very funny, but one day, we'll get into his issues as well. All right. But you see the difference. You see the dichotomy. It's literally a shift in energy. And I also mentioned through the spirit that after Davos is over, which was yesterday, the 23rd, you're going to see things pick up. And you're starting to see it already in Minneapolis. Okay. So going back to the point of problem, reaction, solution, these are all steps leading to that big solution. And you notice it's all based on immigration because they want to change everything. Trump said it, right? Visa, entry, exit system. Okay. The White House memorandum that they just signed, going into what? Going into 6G. Okay. And what did he say? Oh, with this technology, we're going to be able to see underneath people's skin. How you going to do that? How are you planning to do all that? Giving all these tech giants billions of dollars worth of contracts? What are we talking about here, man? All right? Science and technology is changing the world. So let's read a little bit more about the Hegelian dialectic. It says, it is not a simple three-step formula, though it is often summarized as thesis, antithesis, synthesis. That's right. Right? Because you have the thesis, which is the main point. Okay. Then you go against that main point, so you contradict it. And then based on that contradiction, you come up with a solution. Okay. It says a framework popularized by later interpreters, not used by Hegel himself, right? The thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Instead, Hegel's dialectic is a dynamic, self-moving process where each stage contains internal contradictions that lead to its own negation and transformation into a higher, more comprehensive form. Okay, that is the solution part. Okay, the problem, reaction, solution. Okay, there's another term for it. You have, of course, the Hegelian dialectic. You have the thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and then you have another one. It's called the pressure from above, pressure from below. Okay, that is what you have with the whole contradiction shit. Okay, so it's all done from within. The left side, the right side, they all work together. Okay, you have to have that balance. All right. So yes, that's why you have a nigga like Trump. All right, Donald. You have a nigga like Donald. All right. I know it pisses him off, so we're going to use that. A nigga like Donald will be on stage and he'll curse out Hillary. All right, Hillary Hinton. He would curse her out and say, "Oh, if I was president, you would have been in jail. I'm gonna drain the swamp." All this extra shit. And then a few years later, you see them sitting next to each other at a funeral, laughing, passing notes to each other, right? Leaning over to whisper some shit to them, like they're cool, they're friends. You see what I'm saying? A nigga could come up on TV and talk shit about how dangerous Russia is, and then next month you see him walking side by side with Putin, shaking hands, drinking coffee and shit. Like it's a stage, man. It's a stage. And I remember I woke up to that shit when Obama was president, and I remember they used to talk mad shit. Oh, Russia is a threat and this and that. And then it's like, yo, they go to a meeting, this G summit stuff that they used to do, and then you have Obama and Putin standing there shaking hands and talking. I'm like, wait, I thought you wanted to tear this nigga's head off, man. I thought he was like a bad guy and he's killing his own people and you try to save the world and shit. And you standing next to him talking and laughing and having a good time taking pictures together? On some diplomatic shit. You know, giving each other shout outs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, come on, man, what are we doing here? And people still watch this shit and be like, they believe everything they see on TV. That's why they're going to be destroyed. Okay? Or another reason. Many reasons. Okay? So it says here, as a matter of fact, you know what? Now that we've gotten the understanding of what the Hegelian dialectic is, I want to jump into the article that I wanted to focus on. Okay? Which is a sign that something else is about to hit. Okay? A sign that something else is about to hit. Okay? Let's get this. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay? His devices, he will mask it like it's some type of concealed information. When it comes out, those of us who are able to notice it and we talk about it before it happens, we're looked at as conspiracy theorists. We're looked at as nut jobs. All right? We're looked at as tinfoil hat wearers. But when it happens and everybody sees it, everything that we said was going to happen, they'll turn around and call us all kinds of names and say that we're so-called hateful groups and so on and so forth because we're helping people notice the shit that they're doing out in the open. How are we? Whatever, man. Let's keep going. It says James Cameron flees U.S., claims America will spiral into disarray when next demic is unleashed. Okay? Hollywood director James Cameron has fled to New Zealand, and New Zealand is not that safe either. All right, if you see what happened with the whole CV when the whole lockdowns happened, you know, their coke snorting prime minister, that bitch, she was on there talking mad shit, talking about you gonna have to take the teast and everybody needs to get teasted. It was so annoying. But they had people like this on stage, right? She'd come on stage and clean her nose over that white stuff that she was sniffing up and snorting over there. See? And these are the people that are supposed to be calling the shots. A whole bunch of mentally deranged demons. And they get to call the shots. Anyway, continue, says, describing the United States, right, Babylon the Great, under a second Trump era as insane and predicting that when the next demic strikes, the country will descend into disarray. You're stating the obvious. Okay? It says that, boy, hey, I'm busy. It says the Titanic director spoke bluntly on a recent episode of quote, In Depth with Graham Bensinger about relocating to the land of the long white cloud where he both lives and spent years working on the Avatar movies. Variety reports Cameron first addressed his reason for heading south of the equator to take up citizenship in a country that has a population of 23 million sheep and just over 5 million people. That's crazy. That's a lot of food. Shit. Quote, it says, after the demic hit, New Zealand had eliminated the virus completely. They actually eliminated the virus twice. The third time, when it showed up in a mutated form, it broke through. But fortunately, they already had a 98% Vanessa rate. This is why I love New Zealand. Okay, this nigga, he a sellout. All right, he a sellout. Which is most of these directors are sellouts. But what does he know? Right? Because he's a Hollywood director. So what the hell does he know? Because they be getting the script before it plays out anyway, so they could put in the movies. It's called predictive programming. So what does he know? Okay. It says here, man, there's a lot. All right, let's read. It says, quote, people there are, for the most part, sane as opposed to the United States where you had a 62% Vanessa rate, and that's going the wrong direction. How's that going down the wrong direction, man? What research did you do, James Cameron? And after the fact of all this 62% Vanessa rate that happened, which I think was like 66% or some shit, but when you saw what happened shortly after the Vanessa thing, you ain't question that? As a sane, regular, critically thinking human being, you couldn't question that. Damn, all the people that took the jump shots were dying suddenly, get myocarditis, pericarditis, all these different things, blood clots left and right. Okay, and the news media wouldn't even want to talk about it. What's up? It's mad fishy, man. You didn't question that? You'd rather just run away and go hide in New Zealand like you safe. Guess what, nigga? When the CHIP come out, James Cameron gonna take it. His family gonna take it because he's not of the elect. All right? It says, quote, are you kidding me? Where would you rather live? Cameron continued as he praised New Zealand, its people and their obedient nature as they followed orders when it came to dealing with CV. Yeah, that's what he wants because he thinks like an elite. All right? Because I bet you he's not living like those people over there. He might pretend to. He lives there, but he don't live like them. Okay? He got money. He got millions of dollars. He don't got to live like a regular New Zealand nigga. Right? And remember, the celebrities, they always got preferential treatment. Them niggas, they have to take the jump shot. They pretended on TV. It's all theatrics, man. Only the fools believed it. You really thought Joe Biden was actually on TV getting a Vanessa jump shot? That old ass nigga? That robot? Come on, man. Stop playing. Fauci. All right? You think Fauci really taking jump shots out here? Because he cares so much about the greater good. Stop playing, man. Continue, says, a place that actually believes in science and is sane and where people can work together cohesively to a common goal, or a place where everybody's at each other's throats, and that's designed. That's all done by design. It's you got your Republicans and your Democrats in Congress going back and forth, setting up the stage for civil war. Okay, one person says this, the next person says that, and they go back and forth. Who do you think? What do you think is going to happen after that, man? When your so-called leaders can't get on the same page, what happens? What did the Lord say? Let's get that real quick. All right, let's get that real quick. Boy. All right, let's get this. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 26. It says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Okay? How shall then his kingdom stand? If there's a division among the kingdom, it shall not stand. When you read up verse 25, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city, because ultimately you're going to have some form of a civil war. Okay, that's that desolation. You're going to have a form of war, man. If you have a kingdom that has a division fighting against each other, what do you think is going to happen? Cities get destroyed, people die. All right. and so on and so forth. It says, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. All right. Well, it's going to spiral out of control, man. Okay. And what's going to happen? It's going to be a falling out. Okay. A division, so to speak. And it's not going to stand. So that's the same thing that America's going through, man. When your plebes and your patricians, your plebeians and your patricians are going at it, what's going to happen? It's going to be a clash. All right. And when there's a clash, what happens? There's going to be a new order that comes out of that clash. Okay. So everything that's going on in Minneapolis is going to spread throughout the states. All right. And through the spirit, I believe, hey, from now till March, you're going to see some things, man. All right. From now till March, you're going to see some things. And we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what states they go after next. Okay. I believe they're going to really push against these Democratic states, right? Just to have a reason for opposition, because the Democrats are going to push back. It's a very easy way to start some shit, you know? And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. Their mayors, their governors, they're all going to be talking shit, right? Forcing Trump to, bring about that martial law, man. Okay. But, whatever the hell this nigga James Cameron is talking about, man, all this Oscar winning shit. Listen, man, when the time comes, you're going to end up falling just like all these other niggas. Okay. All these different celebrities that, remember that, they were all on TV calling us, oh, you guys are foolish. You guys are stupid. You're keeping everybody at risk. And you better go take your jump shot. And, oh, only the stupid people don't want to get jump shotted. And now look at us and look at you. Talking about you running up to New Zealand because New York, America is an insane asylum. We've been telling you that. But you stayed here. You made millions. All right. Listen to this comment right here. It says, wow, James Cameron is super stupid. He's not just stupid. He's just super stupid. Yeah, he still thinks the demic was real and the fake Vanessas actually saved lives. The Vanessa killed millions and the fake demic was mainly doctors murdering their own customers with ventilators, remdesivir, midazolam, and morphine. Zealand is the last place you want to be when all the sheeple start shedding the new improved Trump Gates Israel, right? Israel GMO juice. All right, so people are waking up, man. All right. Trump and RFK Jr. are anti-Vanessa. President Biden executive order mandated Vanessa's has saved tens of millions of lives. Yeah, they got to put them bots in there to say some dumb shit, right? Oh, her name was Jacinda something. Yeah, that's the president of or the prime minister of New Zealand at that time. I don't know if she still is, but she was at that time, right? Let me see. Yeah. People are waking up, man. You got people saying, yo, AI is collecting information on people to use against them, blah, blah, blah. It's true. It's true. But the point is, man, we're at a time of great deception. Okay. And people like James Cameron, he's been playing a huge role in part of the deception because he's in Hollywood. And the Hollywood is the place where the deception is created on set. All right. They have actual people, human beings that go take acting classes. You can go take acting classes. Anyone could do that shit. Go on TV, on stage. These are regular people, mind you. Okay? And they go on stage, and because of a role they play, they're being celebrated and worshipped by other regular people. Make that make sense. You actually have a nigga called Donald Trump who became president. Like, he's a character on TV. Only in America you have celebrities that could actually run for president and win. Only in America. These people, it tells you these people are dumb as hell, man. You gonna vote for a celebrity to be your president? Other countries don't do that shit. A celebrity is just nothing but an entertainer. You pay to go sit down and watch him for entertainment, for sports, to get your mind off of real life issues. That's it. You don't vote for a nigga like that to be president of your country. It's like, and that's when we knew this place was going down. Because these people are dumb as real. They're really dumb. All right, they don't know anything, and who can blame them? All right, who can blame them? Let's get this real quick. All right, because when you have a devil ruling, this is what you get. All right, this is what you get. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 2. It says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. And that gross darkness represents what? Ignorance of the truth. Okay, in this case, you got willful ignorance and you have unwillful ignorance. But regardless, it's still ignorance. Okay, it says, but the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And ultimately that glory is what? The wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. Okay. Let me see if I can get another one here. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. But again, you're seeing this. All right. Again, we always go into end time prophecies playing out. This is it. Okay, this is it. Lord willing, we're gonna see a whole lot more. All right, of intensity and prophecy. All right, as the weeks and months go by. Okay, you got March, and after March, you're going into the feast of the beast. Okay, into May Day, and all that. Okay, and of course, remember the year 2026, America's 250th year. Right, they're gonna do something big. We just don't know what they're gonna do, but it's gonna be all right, lined up perfectly with prophecy. Okay, so we're definitely gonna be watching. All right, but keep an eye, keep an eye out, keep your head on the swivel because things are happening. Things are happening, whether they show it on the TV or not, however they want to spin it. Keep close eyes on what is going on around the world, especially here in Babylon the Great. Okay, because as America goes, so does the world. All right. So anyway, I'm ending off there low when you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash, Thawada Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.